Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy. Today is May 1st. I can't believe this is May already. Needless to say, it's been a very odd year. 2020, a very odd year. This is a strange second quarter that we're going to be experiencing. But I wanted to, I've had a couple of special episodes, kind of interrupting our regular program, but I wanted to put things into perspective because now is the time to really hone in on some of your skills. And if you don't have some of these skills, maybe it's the time to investigate and look for people who do have these skills. So that way you can probably gain some traction in your business and actually start to reap the benefits of your ads. So I want to talk to you today about what today's topic of conversation is. And I want to share with you 10 tips for writing powerful social media ads. And I want to focus on social media because social media is getting a lot of buzz. And, I in some other time, I will give you some ways to write some great display ads, or maybe even some Google AdWords ads, some powerful tips on that. But for now, I really want to focus on social media. A, because I get a lot of questions about it. B, because people are very much into social media these days. There are people who are actually getting their news from social media. They got people who told me, Frank, I don't turn on the news. And I said, well, how do you get your information? I just read social media to post, and then, that links to an article of, WashingtonPost.com or NewYorkTimes.com or whatever magazine. And that's how I get my information. Or Blabbabuzz or whatever that website is that gives you all of the latest and greatest news tips. So that is telling you that a lot of people are on social media. So while they're on social media, you want to be able to grab their attention and hopefully announce some sort of thing that you are promoting, or maybe that you're trying to help somebody with, et cetera, et cetera. But you want to have something like that. Now, the only way I've seen that helping is if you were to have the skill set of writing powerful ads. And I'm going to give you 10 tips on how to do that. I want you to take some notes. So this is a good time for you to, if you're somewhere near, it's a good time for you to grab your note, pen and paper, and start doing this. Or it's a good time to just download it and listen to it at some other time, so you can capture the information. This is also a good time, and if you have not already, subscribe to this. So that way, every time I have a new episode coming up, you would be notified and you don't skip a beat on some of these things. So with all of that said, let's move on to today's topic of conversation, which is, as I said, 10 tips for writing a powerful social media ad. So tip number 1, you don't want to forget about your brand voice. So here's what I mean by that. You want your current and potential customers to recognize your brand voice everywhere. So consistency is very key. If your business's brand voice is light and carefree, everywhere else, then you want to make sure that your social media ad copy reflects that too. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I see ads written on social media, especially, and I can tell that person did not write that ad because everything else doesn't reflect how that ad is. So what happens is that it turns it sends out a mixed message to your potential customer and your current customers and say, well, why is he or she acting this way? They're not this way. What's going on? So to that end, if you are going to outsource your social media marketing, make sure that whoever you hire understands what your brand voice is. I mean, if you're doing it yourself, make sure that you keep that brand voice there. Number 2, you want to keep it simple. Okay, so remember, you've only got a second or two before the user will scroll on and forget about your ad. And that's because, remember, in social media, people scroll. They scroll. So that's why it's important to keep your social media ad copy simple. Okay. If it's possible, for example, you want to take your ad from, say, 5 sentences to 1 and maintain the same messages, then do it. So if you want to do that, you want to keep it like that, but you want to just keep it simple. Now, there are some cases, however, I say that where long ad copy works. And that probably at another episode, I will have a special topic on this, because this distinction is key, and there is an art science to it, and there are several different scenarios on why you would want to do that in the first place. But I don't want to get into that topic right now because it's going to take this down a wrong path, and then we're going to lose focus on what we're talking about. But basically what I'm trying to say is you want to keep your ad copy simple. And for the most part, you will be just fine doing this, and you will still reap the benefits. And later on, you can get another skill set going when you want that long copy. All right. So number 3, you want to engage your audience. See, the real purpose of social media is socializing. Think about it. When you go on social media, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, you're just there to socialize. Especially now, everyone's quarantining now these days. Thankfully, so it's declining. Things are starting to open up slowly but surely. Here, we're, like I said, today is May 1st, 2020, and things are starting to open up. But still, even before we had this pandemic and this stay-at-home order, the real purpose of social media was to socialize. So remember, your ad copy needs to reflect that. So here's what I mean by that. Instead of promoting all the time, you really want to engage your audience in conversation. So you want to ask questions. Questions are powerful when it comes to social media. Questions make people want to stay on your ad and stop from scrolling. So you want to engage your audience. Number 4, you want to target the census. You want to enhance your social media ad copy with visuals like, intriguing images or videos. That really helps a lot of times when you're doing ads on social media. Remember, people scroll when they're on social media. They don't really read. So in order for them to get them to read, you have to enhance their senses. You want to target their senses, something that's very intriguing, something that's very quirky. And, so select images and or videos that do the trick. Wherever you can use humor, use it. because humor sells. It just does. But if that's not your personality, try not to be someone you're not. Make sure that it's your brand's voice. So if your brand voice is not of humor, don't go for humor. There are different ways to target census using your brand voice. Okay, so just remember that. Number 5, you want to proofread and edit. Nothing is more of a turnoff than an ad that contains typos. I gotta tell you, for me, it really doesn't matter. But here's the interesting thing. Because for me, it's all about what they're trying to tell me. What information, whatever they are selling or whatever they are promoting, let's put it that way. Is it something that I am looking for right now? Is it something that I need? That's all I care about. However, I wanted to put a questionnaire out, and I was quite intrigued by some of the astonishing numbers. And I found, I only asked for about 120 people, but that was enough for me to come to a pretty decent conclusion. Of the 120 people that I asked, 72% of those people said that if they saw a typo on any ad, whether it be a social media ad, a Google AdWords ad, a blog post that they found, they would get turned off and go to the next ad. Now that's interesting to me because that really doesn't bother. That doesn't matter to me. But 72% was nothing to sneeze at, so I decided to add it to my list of 10 things that you must do for powerful social media ads, because again, 72% is nothing to sneeze at. Okay? So, number 6, you want to target the FOMO. For those of you who don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. So these need to be a sense of urgency in your ad copy. So if not, then what would stop the potential customer from scrolling past? So you want to have some sort of offer, same day discount, create that urgency. Same day discount, 24-hour sale, something like that. So that always helps. That's going to also increase your click through rate, which typically ends up with more sales on the other side. Number 7, you want to align your advertising. So instead of thinking of your social media ad as a standalone piece, you want to take a step back and ask yourself how it fits into your strategy as a whole. So you want to make sure that this ad, along with all of the others, is just a piece of a broader message about who you are, how you treat your customers, and what customers can expect from your company. This is key, and this ties in directly with Target the Census, okay? And it also ties in, these all tie in, but Target the Census and engage your audience, you want to have all of these things in there. So you want to make sure that you align your advertising, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. Number 8, you're going to hear, you've heard this from me a lot, but it bears repeating, especially if you're new to my podcast. Your CTA, key. See, once you've determined the goal of your social media ad, write a call to action that encourages customers to take steps toward that goal. So, if your goal of your social media ad is to say, go to your blog post, your CTA or call to action should be something like learn more, because it implies that there's more information that you want to share with them. If your goal of your ad is for them to buy something, make sure that your CTA says buy now. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen the mistake of someone saying learn more, and it takes them to a button that they want to buy something, and it's just misaligned. Again, that really wouldn't deter me from buying something if I really and truly wanted it, and if I saw a huge benefit of me having it. However, I didn't do a questionnaire. I didn't question people on this case, but I have asked many people, and a lot of them, I wish I had the data right now in front of me, but I never did think of tracking this. But a lot of people said, yeah, it kind of turns them off if it says learn more. They're expecting to read more about this product that they're trying to sell, and here it is, you're trying to sell it to me right away. It's a turnoff to some people. Some people are very fidgety. Remember, competition is fierce out there. So the point here, what I'm trying to make, is be precise. Be exceptional. Because if you turn them off by little bitty things, that means they're going to your customer and you're missing out. Okay? So number 9, I want you to use emojis. Those emojis, I got to tell you, I've ran tests on ads. I've been doing Facebook ads since 2014, I believe. It's changed immensely. But over the last 3 years, I ran ads with and without emojis. And here's the interesting thing. The ones with emojis increased my conversion rate by 11%, which is pretty darn good. So I've written the same ad, same content, used the same picture. The only difference between the two ads was that one had an emoji, had emojis in there, smiles, checkbox, etc., and the others didn't. And the ones with the emojis converted by 11% more. That's pretty darn good. So I would say remember emojis. Number 10, last but certainly not least, analyze your ads performance. At some point on another episode, I'll probably give you some details of what you want to analyze, want to break it down and really, really dig deep into it. But in advertising your products and or services, there's usually quite a bit of trial and error. I mean, there always is, especially when it's a new product or a new service that you're trying to do or new, anything that's new, you have to do it. So as long as you expect and keep an open mind, okay, this is very important. You should be able to tweak your ads to reach wider and more relevant audience. So here's a rule of thumb for me, and again, I'll give you more specifics on this at some other time, or maybe I'll do a special episode on this. My rule of thumb for analyzing ad performance is I wait for 100 visitors before I make any changes, before I can say, I try not to make changes too early, because when you make changes too early, you could end up hurting your ad. I can't tell you how many times before, when I was a rookie, when I was learning this thing, I've made a change too early, and it was, I'm sorry, I was tempted to make a change too early, and then I just decided to leave it there. And how many times that ad turned around, because you want to make sure you find the right audience. Sometimes it's not always a silver bullet, guys. It's not always that, oh, I found it, boom, I'm done. I'm done with all my work. It's not like that all the time, unfortunately. It just isn't. So, to recap, folks, here's what we got going on. Here are the 10 tips for writing powerful social media ads. Number 1, you don't forget about your brand voice. Very important. Number 2, you want to keep it simple. Number 3, you want to engage your audience at all times. Number 4, you want to target the census. Number 5, you want to proofread and edit where possible. Number 6, you want to target the FOMO. 7, you want to align your advertising. 8, you want, you don't forget your CTA. I say that a lot. 9, use emojis. And 10, last but not least, you want to analyze your ad performance. Very, very, very important. So again, this has been your episode of marketing solutions for local businesses. I hope you enjoy it. My website is www.lbmsllc.com. If you want a copy of our book, you can head over to www.lbmsllc.com/book, and we will ship it right to you. It'll be a free copy. All you have to do is give us a couple of bucks for shipping. It'll write yours. A lot of the topics that I go over in this podcast series, a lot of it's covered in that book. So maybe you guys could check it out in more detail in that book. So if you order it, that's there. So anyway, guys, happy Friday once again. Let's welcome May. I can't believe we're in the 5th month already of 2020. And I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Soon we'll be back to normal. We'll be back to having business as usual and being able to go out and socialize and et cetera. Maybe at a modified rate, but that's coming soon. But until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will speak to all of you next week with another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Take care, folks. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.